I am the proud owner of many horror games, but the absolute worst player of them. 99% of the time I will buy a horror game because of its overwhelmingly positive reviews, play a single session, get scared, and then never pick it up again. This is the story of one of those rare occasions where I actually sat down and experienced a spooky game start to finish. Greetings all, I am returning from my slumber to talk about the show that just keeps on giving. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2021 Doctor Who survival horror game, The Lonely Assassins. After the disastrous experience of playing a Doctor Who FPS game, I've been putting off trying out this one ever since. This time I actually paid for this game with my own money, so I will let you know if I believe it is worth the price tag. This game is very much cross-platform, but seems ultimately designed for a mobile experience. The entire game is just a phone screen with a blurry background if you played it on PC or console like I did. I played through the entire 3-hour journey late one evening to get the full immersive experience. Patrons of the channel can watch my complete playthrough of the game, but otherwise, sit back, relax, and welcome to my review of The Lonely Assassins. Reviewing this game is in the spirit of trying out new things and broadening my horizons. Literally, I've got 4 episodes of Doctor Who Revival left to review, and then what? Redux reviews for the rest of my life? I have a whole list of content ideas, but how do I know any of them are gonna stick? I sure could use a bit of creative inspiration right now. Oh, hello, Skillshare. What are you doing here? Are you here to give me 6 techniques on how to spark original ideas? Do you happen to be the sponsor of today's video? Skillshare is a community of creative and curious people. It's a great hub for content specifically tailored towards learning a new skill. Let's say, for example, you want to emulate my setup and make your own reaction or gaming content. The first place I can direct you to is the Video Nerds series of videos on how you can get yourself set up for both streaming and screen recording. There are so many videos on YouTube that don't effectively demonstrate and explain the complexities of OBS, and Skillshare is a great home for giving you exactly the tutorials you need. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 30-day free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. That gives you enough time to start learning a skill for free, and it totally smashes that basic 7-day free trial they offer in the face. Smash that link down in the description for a 30-day free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Now, without further ado, let's get on with the review. The Lonely Assassins is effectively a sequel to the Who episode Blink, one I not only consider to be absolutely S-tier, check out my review, but also happened to be broadcasted 14 years prior to this game's release. Now that might make you feel a bit old, but it's important to bear in mind because this is precisely when the story of The Lonely Assassins takes place. This firstly makes the game quite significant, as it not only brought Finlay Robertson back to reprise his role as Larry Nightingale, but is able to piece together what exactly happened to the characters within that time span. The story explores what happened to the Wester Drumlins property. You know, the spooky house with the locked-together angels trapped in its basement. From here on, I'm going to go into the fine details of this game, so if you want to play this game and discover the spoilers of the story for yourself, or just want to find out if it's worth buying or not, go to this timestamp. Let's do this. It's 9:40 p.m. The sun has set. Please enter your pattern to unlock. Oh god, why does it have to be a cube? Oh, hello me in the past. I hope you're ready for a fun time. Enjoy it while you can. Like, what? I still don't know why you're wearing a cap indoors, but alright, knock yourself out. The game gives the player the role of a nameless individual that found a mobile phone in a laundrette in Shoreditch. How did I get hold of it? I found it at a laundrette in Shoreditch. What would I be doing at a laundrette in Shoreditch? You kind of have to go along with this absurd scenario that you not only know nothing about Doctor Who, but also have nothing better to do than sit and play around with a stranger's phone for 3 hours whilst presumably waiting for your washing to be done. I'd like to know what my character is doing. Like,
It said it was in they found the phone in a laundrette in Shoreditch. So is that where I am right now? I'm just doing my laundry and paying for it for some reason, even though apparently I don't have a washing machine. I love that my character in this game scenario has nothing better to do than to just message this total stranger on a total stranger's phone for like, how long have we been? An hour and a half. Jesus, my laundry's probably done by now.
After attempting to unlock what I initially believed to be my own phone, fan service character Petronella Osgood hacks into the phone to prevent it from self-destruction. The game then establishes your actions as having consequences by choosing whether to speak to Osgood or not. She is effectively the guide throughout the game, and thankfully she only ever called me once, which I don't want to speak to you. Let's have a look at some other things. Oh. Oh, God. How did I get hold of this photo? Oh, she won't stop messaging me now, will she? This ended up being 99% true. The rest of the communications I shared with Osgood were through a very long text-based conversation, having the ability to scan certain portions of the phone's contents and upload them to help Osgood find the doctor. It was a shame her primary directive wasn't something a bit more realistic, as her decision to hack this phone didn't really connect well with this goal. Obviously, I may have learned more if I had picked less dismissive text responses, but the side quest of hunting down the Doctor's appearances throughout human history on the internet didn't pose much of an allure to me, because I'm somebody who has watched every single episode of The Revival. Not only that, but it had little relevance when it came to uncovering the main mystery of Larry Nightingale's disappearance.
I know all this. I know all the answers to these questions. Yeah, okay.
The player has to feign interest in learning about the Doctor, the TARDIS, unit, which they would naturally already know about if they'd gotten to this point after purchasing a game that literally has the show's name in its title. Perhaps being a rookie unit operative working under Osgood's wing would have made more sense for the player's character. Now, not only did I appreciate the game giving me some agency over what I could do with this device, but the limited functionality allowed my attention to remain engaged with the story instead of my evil desire to troll the game to oblivion. For example, you can't just message Osgood back with send nudes. You have predetermined dialogue options to choose from. Unfortunately, some of these choices assume too much about the player, and some options have little to no variety, making me feel like my hand had been forced at times.
All of those questions would have exactly the same answer.
For the most part, it is fine though, providing a range of responses from generic to outlandishly amusing.
I've always wanted to be a detective. What do I make of it all? Sounds a bit boring. There's a real good sense of humour to this. I've got to appreciate that. Maybe it's his gran. This is great stuff.
Most of the phone's interactivity is limited by how far into the conversation with Osgood you get. At first, you can only check out some photographs. Had it not been for the inclusion of Larry in the story, I'm not sure I would have found myself caring as much about helping out Osgood.
I really don't want to help you. No, I actually do want to know, because I know Lawrence, he's a good mate.
Once you unlock access to Larry's text history, contacts, emails, and web browser, it becomes abundantly clear that getting Carey Mulligan back to reprise her role was probably a big ask.
Can I, like, call them? I bet it won't connect. Thought so.
Considering she is now an A-list Hollywood actress. Sally's role in the story is very limited as a result. She is only shown as a series of text messages establishing that she moved to America in 2017. I always assumed that Larry and Sally end up getting together at the end of Blink. 14 years is a very long time though, so it's not a complete shock that they just stayed friends and Larry ends up getting married to somebody else. Once you start exploring the phone further, you find that you are still limited by glitchy visual blocks to certain things. Osgood's gradual takeover of this weeping angel infected phone was a satisfactory reasoning for why I couldn't just access everything in one go. After all, it seemed to be encrypted with a lock system that was ready to self-destruct if I tried accessing it. Clearly, somebody didn't want this phone to be discovered. This becomes more evident when the player starts receiving creepy calls from various people, including the owner of the phone itself.
Oh. Am I just meant to hang up? Like, I can't hear anything, dude. I literally can't make any of that out. What the fuck? That was good. That was good.
The game seemed to be fully aware of both my lacking desire to cooperate with Osgood and my thirst to see more of what Larry had been up to 14 years later. The fact the jump scare came only when I tried to hang up showed that the control I believed I had was in fact just an illusion. When I brought this up with Osgood, the fact that she was as clueless as I was...
But he called me. Yeah. Oh god, I'm getting spooked now.
Was very unnerving. To make matters worse, the emails had suddenly been masked and rearranged in a different order. Then, discovering that certain pieces of information contained within messages and emails being glitched by the Angel's virus, they stack up the suspense and fear really well. This was where this sense that clicking on anything could trigger some kind of jump scare, but compiled with my desire to find out what had happened to Larry, I was fully strapped in to see what would happen.
Uh-oh. Oh, I can't access that either. That's going all weird. Excuse me? Can I... Oh! It's in the phone now. I'm gonna start turning into a fucking angel, aren't I? Oh god, that was... Okay.
Following that, the game effectively created a fictional and limited version of Reddit's paranormal board for me to explore. The posts in focus were of people discussing experiences relating to the Wester Drumlins house and the Weeping Angels, either physically or digitally.
The really weird thing is I feel like someone's watching me through my phone. Oh. What? Arms are turning to stone. Wester Drumlins. Oh my god. I'm scared. I'm actually scared.
Scanning through it all was definitely one of the more chilling experiences. Just reading had this effect.
What? Oh my god, this is horrible to read. Most weird patterns and numbers. Your image is 2. Everything keeps shifting. Ooh. That little puff made me jump.
I jumped back to Larry's messages and found that prior to his disappearance, his wife Natasha also went missing a few days prior. You definitely get the feeling of being a detective as you play through this game, having to remember dates when people went silent, people's addresses, physical traits, and so on. You need to type in these key pieces of information to verify shopping orders and access missing persons forms. It's all quite rudimentary, but I was surprised at the amount of brain power I was required to use during this game, despite the simplistic user interface. I was literally tabbing out of the game to take notes on my second monitor. It's a shame I couldn't switch the game into borderless windowed mode or even have a notepad app installed within this fictional phone. I dread to think what people who are playing this game on their mobiles would do. Later on, more photographs were made available to me, highlighting Larry and Natasha's relationship in goofy and adorable ways. Not only did I appreciate the effort put in here by the producers to photograph the pair doing dorky things, but even the text messages are proper cheesy. It gives a sense of realism to their relationship. It makes it all the more terrifying though when this happy life gets warped and disrupted by the influence of the angels.
Oh, spooky scary. What the fuck? Oh, downloads. I can't access that just yet. What is that? What the fuck? That wasn't there before. Oh my god, look at these goosebumps. Oh my god. This is wrong. This is so spooky and wrong.
The game also serves the player a chilling vocal performance from Finley Robertson in this voice note that Larry sends to Sally Sparrow.
Nat's missing. It's like she just up and disappeared. It's them, Sal. I know it. They did this. I was... Sorry. What was I thinking? It's just... You're the only one that gets it. You were right to escape.
Larry knows full well that history is repeating itself, and those that took his sister have now taken his wife. The voice note did make me wonder why Larry didn't just call Sally, but then we wouldn't have a trail of evidence to follow, and who knows, maybe people just don't like talking on the phone anymore. The game does an effective job of connecting the dots between 2007 and 2021. I got to see this very basic one-page website of the Sparrow and Nightingale bookshop, now turned cafe. That was very heartwarming and tickled my nostalgia right away. Sally and Larry also hired somebody to write an article on their behalf to warn people about those that disappeared at Wester Drumlins. Despite these efforts, the property was still on the market and was sold to a man named Flint, a filthy rich man who wants Larry to stop warning him about the haunted house he's purchased. Despite it being a legal requirement for estate agents to disclose murders and suicides that occurred on the property, disappearances and paranormal activities are not. Even still, finding out that this scummy landlord had this property sold to him by none other than his own cousin was a top moment. Flint calls up the player through the game and lectures them about staying off the property. There was a nice touch of makeup on him starting to turn to stone, and the script's references to a stone's throw was great stuff too. Unfortunately, it's more like a video message as opposed to a video call. Not only is Flint unable to notice that that nobody on the other end of the call is talking back to him, but because the player's character is as mute as a fish, he rattles on assuming that he is speaking to Larry. Normally when you answer a video call, your phone's camera will automatically turn on or at least give you the choice. All that needed to happen was Flint sending this nasty video to Larry's phone as an attachment to the message. I didn't try rejecting Flint's phone call either, so I'm not sure what would have happened if I did. After this, I found myself at a bit of a roadblock because Osgood effectively told me I was missing something to scan in the phone. It was difficult to differentiate between scannable corrupted items, the things I'm actually looking for, and elements that were simply locked off until later in the story. Thankfully, it only took me around 15 minutes to dig deeper into the phone's browser history and find it, and my impatience was definitely getting the better of me.
The phone's going to run out of battery before I get the chance to find it.
This led me to a little jigsaw puzzle minigame that revealed who was inside the phone.
Try here. Okay. Aha. That bit goes there. That bit goes there. Let's go. Oh no. I don't want to see this. Hang on.
This was effectively where they ramped up the spookiness and the detective work came to an end. All the corrupted parts of the phone that were locked off to me previously could then be deleted, which was essentially just more scanning with added button mashing.
Oh, do I have to like click it like loads of times? Bam, 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 bam. Oh, not again. That's some bollocks this is.
Fortunately, that unsettling feeling of lacking control returned when I had to scan the gallery again.
Oh, there was a corrupted one. Here. Oh! Oh! Oh, stop it. Ruining the nice photos of this lovely couple and the whole phone is going all wackadoo.
In case we needed more evidence that an angel was locked in the phone, the last task was to delete the home screen.
Osgood, I've done it. Osgood. Osgood. Can I delete the phone now? Wait, is that what I'm supposed to do now? I've got to delete the phone? Okay. Oh, it's in the background. Oh, I didn't even notice. Smash it. That was easy. Oh. Hello? That was way too close.
As you can probably tell, I don't think the segment bore the desired effect. It felt more like I'd squashed a few bugs with a newspaper than nearly getting zapped back in time by a digital weeping angel. In fact, I believed this was the end of the game, as I could then explore and discover all that remained unlocked to me within the phone. Or so I thought. For the remainder of the game, the suspense and momentum never quite built up again in the same way. To the game's credit, it did build up a good amount of suspense just by prodding the player about potentially visiting the Wester Drumlins property in person.
Don't make me go in there. Don't. Osgood, do not send me to Wester Drumlins. Oh no. I don't want to go back into the gallery. Last time it was horrible. The downloads are still fucked. Oh, why are there pictures of Wester Drumlins? No. Make people steer clear. Oh no. Don't make me go there. Why? We know why. Oh, god damn it. Fine. Okay. I do not want to go back there, my dear.
But the player never actually goes there and must perceive all events that happen from watching characters through CCTV and just them filming themselves with their smartphones. From a downloaded video, the player gets conclusive confirmation that Larry's wife Nat had been sent back in time by the angels. The video is 5 seconds of mess that needs decoding, but just simply pausing the video gave me all the information I needed. The game managed to stretch itself out further by insisting that the player contact somebody at the archive they got the video from to restore it. I did this by accessing the contact segment of the phone, which is worth talking about very quickly. Early on in the game, I put my detective hat on and decided to call up a few people that I believed were of interest to finding out where Larry went.
Is it too early in the game to be calling all these people? Because they all seem to be on the phone at the same time.
Of the 4 people that I called up, all of them were apparently on the phone at the time that I called them. Aside from calling back the spooky phone tower contact, the only other time I actually had to call somebody was here in this final act when it came to decoding this video. Sadly, like the first video call with Flint, it was very obviously a one-way call despite the game insisting that I would have to pretend to be Larry when speaking to her.
You need to contact Marguerite. Have I got to call her? Give you the digitized video she sent to Lawrence, so you have to pretend to be Lawrence. It looks like a personal transaction, so she wouldn't release it to a stranger. I can do that. Game on. Yeah!
I copied out all the relevant information I felt was required, thinking I might actually have to respond to her in real time.
Please hold while we try to connect you.
Okay.
Hello, Marguerite speaking, Records Administrator. How may I help you? Hello?
What one, my G?
Hello?
What are you saying?
Give me a moment. I have your number right here. Text you in a bit.
Oh. Well, that was quick.
Turned out we were just going to text instead.
Marguerite, you are looking fine. Refresh my memory. Ah, shit. Oh dear, that was information that I probably should have taken a note of. Oh. Where was it? Marguerite. Marguerite. It was on the 23rd of February. Today is... Oh, crap. When's the date? What's the date today? Okay, it was this week. It was this week. We met last week. Phew.
Obviously, if this was a real-time interaction, I would have been caught red-handed as the sus imposter. Now, I've already stated why this is necessary for this game, but to have it happen again exposes the artificiality of the interactions that occur within it. This was worsened by the fact that I had prepared myself with relevant information, and even when I got a question wrong, it didn't seem to bloody matter.
It was good to meet in your chat. Our email threads just kept going. We only got one email. What are you talking about? Oh, I got it wrong.
So I got the file, and this is sadly where everything started falling apart. The video file established that an angel sent Nat back to 1926, and in 1928 she managed to film a video that Larry would watch nearly 100 years later. Bearing in mind movies in the cinemas had only just gotten dialogue around 1927, I find this video to be an absolutely astonishing feat considering the circumstances. She doesn't exactly get warped to California, so how she was able to make this video seems extremely convenient. The actress sadly doesn't do a very convincing job of displaying much emotion at the prospect of her displacement in time. She is far too smiley for somebody who has had their entire life ripped from them and having it replaced with 1920s Kansas, where they segregated schools. Like,
I'm staying at the old Denslow farm, which is lovely and full of great people. And
she doesn't even warn Larry to not go back to Wester Drumlins.
Yeah, that was emotional. Piss off, was it?
Needless to say, this video could not hold a candle up to the 1960s recording of the Doctor warning Sally Sparrow not to blink. Which, by the way, just happens to be inside Larry's private folder in his phone's gallery. Watching this archived video is the final key to unlocking the remainder of Larry's phone, private folder included. I was expecting to find nudes of his wife or something, but instead there's a bunch of audio logs and 2 videos Larry recorded after his wife went missing.
You know, the audio diary log thing is so outdated. Like, I just think back to BioShock and just how kind of annoying they were. It's just, no one does this. No one films themselves, no one records themselves, like, unless you're kind of crazy.
The audio files don't really add anything we didn't already know, and worse still were the video files of the final moments of Larry before he disappeared.
Just watched the message from Nats. I thought, like an idiot, it will bring us closer, but just made me realise how far apart we are.
It was completely unbelievable that he watched the video of his wife being stuck in 1928, and the first thing he thought to do was film his reaction to it. The only redeeming factor of this video was the fact that a mystery surrounding a missing mirror in Larry's house was solved with this fantastic line.
The Doctor used to call them the Lonely Assassins. He reckoned it was because they turned to stone if you even glance at them. But if you think about it, lonely assassins are the best kind. Because we've got nothing to lose.
Oh, nice.
And the idea of Larry not giving into grief and getting over his restraint to revisit Wester Drumlins gives him a worthy send-off. Unfortunately, the game decided that one additional video was needed.
If I don't make it and you find these messages, you know the drill. Don't turn your back. Don't look away and don't blink. Good luck, Larry.
Oh dear.
I honestly would have thought Larry, of all people, would have had the foresight to imagine that his phone's camera might be the perfect defense against the weeping angels. I should mention that in the background of all this, Osgood sends one of her lackeys named Aisha to the Wester Drumlins property to set up CCTV in its cellar. It was a little convenient she could do this, considering that Flint claimed he had increased security on the property, but better her than me going back to the place of my childhood nightmares. The player is then shown her body cam footage and sees some spooky POV shots, seemingly inspired by the Blair Witch Project. Unfortunately, the voice of angel-infected Flint then can be heard, destroying all suspense with some rather obvious jump scares.
He's behind you.
Lol.
And when your friend said that you shouldn't blink and you're going to be okay, she was only half right.
It's such a shame, because revisiting the house was the part I was most terrified of. The fact it is spoiled by repeatedly using this Flint character as the Angel's mouthpiece was a terrible mistake. It didn't work in Flesh and Stone, and it definitely doesn't work in this game either.
Well, the Angel... Oh no, I don't want to fucking answer. Oh, I have to.
Flint here. I have some excellent news for you. Something that'll put a smile on your face. I am dead. Or as good as. The angels are using Flint's consciousness to communicate. Because we wanted to say, thank you. See you soon.
Osgood's too busy for me now. Oh wow, this just went so fucking stupid.
I don't know what possessed the Angels to send this photo to Larry's phone. I think this might have been the point in my playthrough where all immersion was just completely sucked out of me.
I'm past the point of caring now. Like this has just gotten so silly.
Osgood then steals Larry's car and drives to Wester Drumlins to stop the Angel breakout that's about to happen. You remember earlier when I mentioned that this Aisha character just managed to get onto the property no problem? You might also remember me mentioning Flint had buffed up the security on the property. Well, apparently that includes a retinal scanner. This prevents Osgood from getting in, yet didn't seem to stop Aisha getting in earlier in the game. This is where that famous photo of Flint comes conveniently into play, as Osgood uses it to access the property. She goes down to the basement and has a really cringy standoff with Flint in the dark. So overconfident was Osgood that she didn't even tell anybody at unit where she was or what she was doing. It then became clear that the convenient reason Osgood stole Larry's car was because a disco ball was inside his trunk. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was Osgood's secret weapon against the Angels. Meanwhile, the mysterious phone tower phone calls became relevant in order to access Aisha's CCTV network. I liked that the character wasn't a complete waste and had some function in the story for this little puzzle. I felt gratified that my note-keeping of the secret codes wasn't a complete waste either. Sadly, it forces another bunch of scan, spam, clicking activities onto the player.
This isn't even scary anymore, come on. He just looks like the Mr. Incredible meme now.
Which merely allowed me to see Osgood running in and out of the property to grab the disco ball. What CCTV was set up in the basement, however, didn't seem to be a part of my viewing experience because I was instead forced to witness Osgood going down there from her phone's perspective.
But I always loved...
Consume your world.
my phone!
I always loved my phone. What?
I think we just saved the planet with a disco ball.
And that's basically it. The world gets saved by the great disco ball locked in Larry's car.
Oh, that is so the Doctor.
The only thing left to discuss is how the player and Osgood part ways.
I'll call you again if I need a phone looked at. No thanks. I'm good.
And honestly, they should have just ended the game there. But no.
Let's never do this again. And then... I can't. Why? No, decline. Oh, of course I can't decline. fine.
It's the doctor. Don't worry.
I thought I was
not
rid
your
of
doctor.
you.
There had to be a completely pointless epilogue to leave the game on a seriously sour note. I'm just going to let the clip do the talking.
You were brave and dogged and whip smart and all those other words people normally use about me.
What happened to Larry?
Sorry, console's playing up. Time for its 2,000-year MOT.
What happened
Osgood
to
thought
Larry?
you should know something else. I'm picking up a distress signal from the Bar Galactica, so I best be off. Just one last message from Osgood. She said if you ever fancy working with her again, well, all you gotta do is pick up the phone. Literally.
I said no.
Oh, about Larry.
She saw my last message.
I really hope he's gonna be happy as Larry. But I'm not sure what happens to him next. I don't know everything. Where'd be the fun in that? See ya.
The one person I actually gave a shit about, they couldn't even give him an answer. Oh, I don't know.
Literally a mountain of cringe piled up at the end, with the cherry on top being that I have no idea what happened to Larry Nightingale. So, did it suck? I really wanted to give this game a glowing review, but holy hell does it nosedive in quality at times. For the most part, you do get your bang for your buck with this thing. It definitely creeped me out and brought back feelings of fear that I haven't felt towards the Weeping Angels in a long time. Knowing that this is the closest to a direct sequel to Blink as we're likely to get, I can definitely recommend it for piecing together the story and how the game treats you like a detective with varying degrees of brain power required for different activities. The acting is also of varying degrees of quality, but the effort was definitely there from those involved. It being a mobile game as well, it doesn't exactly have high performance requirements, so pretty much any Whovian can enjoy this thing for a $5. I didn't have any performance issues myself, and was able to experience the game pretty flawlessly. To the degree that you actually have any influence over the game's outcome, I would assume is very little. But that's fine though. If I wanted a choose your own adventure story, I'd just go to my mum's house and pull out these things. I give The Lonely Assassins a 7 out of 10.